The Nigerian economy has grown rapidly over the past decade. It's about 7% per annum. Of course, we are now, by the last rebasing of our GDP, we are now the largest economy in the continent and the 26th globally. But this robust economy has not translated into job creation. And that's why government is working very hard. How will we, looking at the economic indices, make sure that we create jobs for our people and also improve on government revenues? That is why we are focused on a number of priority sectors which have high job creating potentials, such as agriculture, manufacturing, housing and construction, and the services sector. And in each of these sectors, we are working to unlock the various obstacles faced by businesses so that they can create jobs for our people. We are learning from the examples of other countries, such as China, to see what they have done in this regard to create jobs for their citizens. Their population cannot be compared to that of Nigeria. So if they are able to create jobs for maybe 1.3 or 1.4 billion people, then our population that is still under 200 million, we should be able to create jobs for our citizens. Our recent GDP rebasing exercise shows that the services sector now accounts for about 51% of our economy, up from 26% previously. And so we are introducing targeted measures to further harness this sector by supporting the development of our small and medium-scale enterprises. For example, we are working to develop our housing and construction sectors, given its potential to create jobs for our craftsmen and artisans. We also recently launched our National Industrial Revolution Plan, which will further invigorate our manufacturing sector. In addition, in the short term, we have also introduced special government initiatives, such as business plan competition for young entrepreneurs, the program we call You Win, where we ask young people to come up with business plans assessed by a neutral body. Every transaction is done through the IT, so you don't have to interface with anybody, so you will not get any preference in any way. And based on the business plan, we give them a grant, not a loan, of equivalent of 10,000 to 90,000, depending on what you intend to do. And this has helped us to support presently about 2,400 young people, men and women, and on their own, from the last assessment, they have created jobs, over 26,000 jobs. Because our commitment is that if you can help one young person to employ 2, 3, 5 or more people, then over the period, you will have a lot of jobs through the SMEs. We also have what we call the graduate internship scheme, where young graduates who want to get industrial experience and work in companies, and sometimes the companies are not strong enough to pay their salaries, and probably companies that are supposed to employ 10 people will be managing with 5 or 6. Government now attach you with some young graduates and pay the salaries of these graduates, so that one, that company becomes strong, and at the same time, these young people learn a lot of skills and entrepreneurs capabilities so that they can pull back and be on their own. We are also directly intervening in what we call community services. And about 120,000 jobs have been created through these community services. And all this, we are sponsoring it from what we call the SHOPE. That is when, the issue of subsidizing hydrocarbons. Nigeria has been one of these victims because we subsidize hydrocarbons. And at the end of the day, the subsidy does not really go to the people who need it. So we improved the pump price of petroleum products recently. And we said that the difference between the original price and the new price will be pumped into so many areas, intervention in infrastructure and creating opportunities for young people. And these are some of the sectors that we have invested this money in. Finally, as we continue our discussions today, let us also remember the challenge of tackling inequality. Today, we all know that the African continent is rising. Our economic growth is strong, our social indicators are improving, and our middle class is expanding. However, we must ensure that the poorer and vulnerable members of our society are also carried along. We need economic growth, but we must work to ensure that this growth is inclusive. In Africa, most of our countries must begin to think about introducing social protection measures, building on the strong traditions we already have. Of course, in Africa, you care for your neighbor, you care for your family. We have extended family system. That's why even though we don't have the social welfare schemes we have in Europe and other countries, but because every successful person in Africa takes care of almost everybody around them. So we must make sure that there's maximum inclusiveness, not just helping people from our pocket, but opportunities are created for people to take care of themselves. Our friends in Latin America have more knowledge in this area and can share some of their experiences with us. We are looking, for example, at President Lula's work, where he created what is described as Bolsa Familia, I'm not sure of the pronunciation, which is a conditional cash transfer program to support low-income families and lift them off from the bottom of the ladder. It has been a successful program, and we are carefully studying it, how we can do a similar thing in Nigeria. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Africa faces difficult challenges in the years ahead to provide adequate infrastructure, to create jobs, and to develop the skills of its young population. But the continent is also confronted by tremendous opportunity to harness its young population in a manner that can provide unique dividends to our people. As we debate these issues in the next 2 days, let us raise our sights, let us think big and bold, and let us think for the long term. I believe collectively, with the caliber of men and women that we have here, with the institutions that they are representing, if we have the determination, and of course, luckily, I have interfaced with quite a number of African leaders. Before this time, most African leaders struggle to stabilize their countries because of unstable governments. But democracy has come to stay in Africa. Most countries are very, very stable. So their heads of government are now facing core development issues instead of diverting attention to stopping coup or planning a coup. They are facing development issues. I've seen the political will, I've seen the total commitment of African leaders, and collectively, the people in this house, as we discuss these issues in the next 2 days, surely will take decisions and the right steps to get Africa out of our current position today. I thank you all.